Hello and welcome to Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Justin. I am here with my co-host and friend, Tony.
Hey!
Today we will be covering the greatest cinematic, potentially, release of all time, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We will be structuring this podcast.
That's not our theme song. This is our theme song. Right here.
But before we play the theme song...
Or after. Or right now. Let's talk about what we're going to do this episode.
Yeah,
no
in this
news.
episode, there's no news whatsoever.
No news, because we just recorded an episode yesterday, and that's where all the news is.
Yes, exactly. So, the way we're going to structure this is the beginning. We'll have non-spoiler Star Wars information.
Non-spoiler review.
Non-spoiler
what we think
review
of the movie.
Yes. Then, after the non-spoiler review, we will make a giant warning and say, from this point forward, there is spoilers.
Spoilers at the ready.
And then we're going to spoil the entire movie and give a full-blown review, our thoughts on every single thing that we thought, which has been a lot all day today. I've just been thinking and reading articles and talking to people about this movie, and I think I've come to a conclusion, at least for my first viewing. Initial thoughts are complete now. I'm going to see it again tomorrow.
And then after that, we're going to give our expectations for the other two in the trilogy and our predictions.
Yes.
For what's going to happen.
So let's play it.
So now we can officially play the theme song.
So, non-spoiler review.
This is a part of the episode where we don't spoil the movie.
Would you like to go first or want me to go first?
We can talk about it. Let's non-spoilers accounts for anything shown in the trailer. We can talk about anything in the trailer.
Yes,
because
and the cast list, we can talk about specific characters to an extent.
Yeah.
We will not reveal any plot.
That's right.
So first off, I think we should start where I'm assuming we agree on this, because I don't know anybody who disagrees. The effects of this movie, 10 out of 10.
Like the effects it had on my soul?
No, like the special effects, but also that, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, we
special effects were good. Listen, I was watching this movie, and I normally don't outwardly show emotion, and I felt myself smiling watching this movie.
What?
I'm like, what's happening to my face?
Tony doesn't do that.
What's happening to my face right now? And there's a big old smile on my face.
Oh my gosh.
The whole time.
It was great. It honestly was great from the start to the finish. The opening was very strong, I thought. And one of the things I noticed early on is just the amount of practical effects. And I know I heard it over and over again by people reporting about the creation of the movie. But, man, so many, like, if there's an excuse to use a practical effect, they pretty much do.
Yeah.
So, effects 10 out of 10 for sure.
There's this one time where they were walking out of a ship, and the ship was like, they had like smoke coming out of the back of it. I'm like, man, they could put that in with CGI. But they didn't. They actually made a ship. And the ship was huge.
Yep.
I'm like, that's interesting.
Yep.
We'll talk more about that later, I guess.
Yep.
Although it's not really a big major spoiler.
It really isn't.
Guess what? They walk out of ships in the movie.
There are ships in Star Wars. So, effects 10 out of 10. The new cast.
The new cast. And the interaction with the old cast. Because there's no secret that Han and Leia are in it.
Yes, not a secret.
That is on the poster and the trailer.
And they're on the cast list.
So how do you think they interacted with the new people? John Boyega, Adam Driver, which was Kylo Ren. Yes. John Boyega was Finn. Daisy Ridley was Rey.
Mm-hmm.
And Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
What do you think their interaction was with them?
So I would say that each of their acting was strong. And throughout the course of the movie, I went from having one of them being my favorite to then when another character was dominant, that person was my favorite. And then when another person was the main person in the scene, I was like, no, this person is my favorite. So I really felt like they were very likable. And I thought their chemistry between each other throughout the whole movie was on point. I definitely felt like there was a lot of chemistry between the new cast within themselves, but also there was chemistry between the old cast and the new cast. I could tell that they worked really well together. I didn't feel like it was awkward. It was good.
I felt like there was a lot of parallels between the new cast members and their characters and the old characters of the original trilogy.
How so?
Well, I can't talk about it yet.
Okay, I'll ask that question in like 10 minutes.
But once we get there, maybe less than 10 minutes, maybe more than 10 minutes.
Okay.
What did you think? The story as a whole, without giving anything away, what did you think? Conclusive? Do you think
I thought
it left you wanting more?
Mm-hmm. I would say that there are parts of the plot that I wish could be expanded upon. However, I do understand that we can't make a super long movie.
Well, they could, and we'd watch it.
I thought the plot was conclusive within itself enough. I didn't feel like it left on a big cliffhanger that made me really mad, like some movies do. Pirates of the Caribbean, which I think we've referenced yesterday. Bootstraps. Part of the crew. So it didn't leave me on like a negative cliffhanger. I thought they ended it in a way that just wasn't cliffhanger, and I was cool with that. Like, there's definitely
it's not a cliffhanger, but it definitely
opens.
There's obviously going to be movies after it.
Yeah, I really liked how they did it. So I thought the movie was conclusive within itself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give away any. I'm afraid that if I talk too specifically about what I liked about it, overall, I thought it was exhilarating. I thought it was action packed, and the action was beautiful.
On point.
It was on point.
On fleek.
I say the pace of the movie was good. I didn't get too bored at any point during the movie with like any slow parts. Yeah. So that would be. What's your take on the plot? Non-spoiler
on
plot.
The plot. I have a whole list of things here. Not necessarily about the plot, but about the movie in whole.
Mm-hmm.
The ships were fantastic.
Yes.
There was a new class of X-wing. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's
which
black.
we see in the trailer.
Which you see in the trailer, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's black.
Yeah.
And it essentially does the same, but there's one specific pilot who was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
Because he did something and I'm like, no.
Dude, I know what you're talking about. Can't wait to spoiler zone.
The First Order.
Yeah.
And the Resistance are, I would say, evenly matched in this film. There's not necessarily one that has a giant head and above the other person. From my opinion.
Okay.
You might refute that later.
Yeah.
The planets were beautiful.
Yeah,
even
gorgeous.
Jakku, which is just desert and boring.
Yeah.
And is Tatooine.
Yeah.
It was still good.
I mean, yeah, it's essentially. I mean, if you played Battle of Jakku DLC on Battlefront, or you've seen any picture, it literally looks just like Tatooine.
It's just Tatooine
with just like
Empire stuff.
Empire junk from a battle that happened that we know about from the books. So I agree. The locations were all beautiful, and I love the diversity of setting throughout the whole movie. I felt like we got a good sample of a lot of different types of topography.
Yeah,
and that made it fresh. Like each new chapter of the movie had like a nice feel to it.
Well, there's a desert planet. There's like a forest planet, like a green planet. There's a winter planet.
Yeah.
There's some space stuff. I think that's the only 3 planets that I remember.
Yeah, with any major time on screen, those are the 3 ones.
We all know that Kylo Ren is evil.
Yes.
He is the Darth Vader of this series.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job of expanding his evilness and his... The movie itself is really brutal for a PG-13 movie.
It is a little brutal.
I would say more brutal and violent than previous Star Wars movies.
I would say it would be on par... Well, maybe Episode 3 might be a little bit more because it's more gory. Because you see, like, the limbs come off of Anakin at the end. He starts burning in lava. Like, it doesn't go that far. I think it's more violent. There's more action going on and fighting. But I don't think it's super gory at all.
It's not gory, no, but it is violent. It is more violent.
Okay.
There's only one person in the whole movie that I questioned who he was and what he was doing there.
Yeah.
And he's not a big character at all. He's there for less than 5 minutes. I'm like, who is this guy? And then he's gone. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Everything else was flushed out fairly well.
Yeah, you get a good sense of everybody's role within the plot, I would say.
The lightsaber battles were fantastic. Were fantastic.
Yes.
It's nice. Kylo Ren obviously has that lightsaber that has the hilt.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see him use that.
Yeah, and kind of like put to rest all the arguments about why the heck does he need a crossguard?
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about.
I mean, I thought it was obvious that he would need a crossguard.
I know. Well, people are dumb, and they were like, that serves no function. He's going to cut himself. I'm like, oh my gosh. That's the dumbest argument.
His lightsaber looks heavier than another lightsaber.
It does, though. It really does.
But I was always told that lightsabers are supposed to be like a two-handed weapon anyway. Like, that's what Lucas wanted. And Spielberg wanted or whatever. They wanted it to be heavy, and they wanted it to be a two-handed weapon. And now they've gotten away from that. Now people are just wielding with one hand every once in a while. Like, if you're going for a power attack, you use two hands, but mostly they use one hand flipping around.
Well, I think Empire Strikes Back for sure, with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, when they have their duel at Cloud City, for the first half of the entire fight, Darth Vader pretty much uses just one hand.
Yeah.
And he owns Luke with one hand.
But he's also supposed to be super strong.
He is, right. And it fits his character. But I know, like, generally, the point behind lightsaber battles was based off of, like, samurais. And samurais use swords, katanas, generally, with both hands.
Yeah.
And so the fighting style is supposed to mimic that to an extent.
Yeah.
And so...
Giant space samurai.
Yep. Fighting space Nazis.
Yes.
And cowboys in there somewhere.
That's what Star Wars is.
I love it!
It's awesome. It sounds stupid, but it's awesome.
It is so good.
One problem I have with it that is not a spoiler, and this is the last thing I have on my list, is that it's very funny. The movie is very funny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jokes in it.
Yeah.
And that's really good for a first viewing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the jokes will keep it from being...
They won't age.
Yeah, they won't age, and it won't keep it from being a classic. You can watch the jokes 2 or 3 times, you'll be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Then, like, the first time, you're like, I don't ever want to see these jokes again.
Mm-hmm. I think there was a lot more humor in this than I expected.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to hold up. I think some of the jokes aren't funny in the long run, but, like, when I watch Empire Strikes Back, and I like, hear the whole, like, banter back and forth between Han and Leia, like, who's scruffy looking, like, the nerf herder, like, all those comments that are ridiculous. Like, I still laugh at that scene, and I've seen that movie, like, 100 times.
I don't know. I feel like the jokes, there are some physical jokes in there.
There are some jokes in there, I think, that will last. I think there are some that won't be funny. I don't know. I'm going to punt that to future Justin and Tony to see if
next week,
in 3 years, when we're still doing our podcast together.
When episode 8 comes out.
Yeah.
We'll be like, episode 7 jokes so funny? No.
I'll be like, I think so.
Listen.
I just want it to be funny. I wanted to. Okay.
I laughed a lot, and I chuckled a lot,
yeah.
and the jokes were funny. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, these won't be funny my second time seeing it.
Yeah, and I think there are some other things in the movie that may keep it from being a classic.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Who knows? We can't tell.
Do you want to talk about your viewing experience? Because I have some things down. Specifically, I was not planning on seeing it the day
right.
The day of.
We talked about that on the podcast.
And then I'm like, because I was looking up tickets when we did the podcast. I'm like, well, I guess I'll see it today.
Yeah.
I was at my movie theater right next to my apartment. There was a 7:30 showing.
Yeah.
An 8 o'clock showing and an 8:15 showing.
Yeah.
I went to the 8:15. So I was not the first showing, but my theater was still packed.
Yeah.
And, like, every 10 minutes, the crowd would cheer. Whenever someone walked into the frame, or whenever, like, the opening scroll happened, or whenever a certain music thing happened, they'd be like, yeah, this is awesome, I love Star Wars. Like, shut up. I'm trying to watch a movie. Yeah. And then one specific thing happened, and one person cheered. This one thing happened, and one person cheered and clapped.
Yeah.
And then another thing happened almost immediately afterwards. This same person cheered and clapped.
Yeah.
And I looked around, and it was like this 8-year-old boy.
Are you kidding?
And, like, the front right. He wasn't cheering loud. He was like, it was one of those, like, maybe if I cheer, other people will cheer with me because this is really awesome.
Yeah.
But this is towards the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he was cheering. On the second time, he, like, clapped and cheered. Someone from behind me was just like, shut up! And it was this little 8-year-old boy. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. I'm like, just let him enjoy the movie.
We can't give him too much crap. Because there was a point in the movie where I chuckled at something, and literally no one else laughed in the entire theater. Uh-oh. And I just went, and no one else in the theater thought it was funny, but I thought it was funny.
Tell me what that is.
I can't remember exactly what it was. I just remember doing it. I felt really awkward.
Well, I went to a regular theater.
Yeah. I would say my experience was different. So I went to a sit-down place that serves food and beverages.
While you watch
it. And that might have had an effect on it. Also, generally, just like looking around, there weren't many kids. There were some kids, but it's
the place you go to serves alcohol.
Right.
So a lot of kids are like, I can't go there because you have to be 21.
Right. Like teenagers, and like you can go with your parents.
Yeah, but you don't have to be 21.
You don't have to be 21. But just like there's like a reputation about it that like kids just look at the name, they're like, oh, I probably can't go there, which is great. which is awesome
for things like this.
So I would say the only cheering I remember actually happening was when the beginning credits opened.
Opening crawl.
And then we're still in the non-spoiler zone. There was one other time that I remember some clapping going on, but it was not obnoxious at all. I would say overall, the most uncomfortable thing is it just got really hot in the theater because every seat was full.
Yeah.
And there was like hot food and like that part of it was annoying. But I would say generally the only time I heard other people was when we were all laughing at something or me laughing by myself.
I laugh. Listen, so I don't show emotions very well, but I find things hilarious that other people don't, and I laugh all the time. And people are like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "You do it all the time. Not in my head because this is hilarious." Like,
I got you.
Leave me alone.
I got you.
So that was my experience watching it.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was that kid got destroyed by like that old
guy
behind you. Shut up! I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this movie.
That's good.
So yeah, non-spoiler, definitely go see it. I wanted to go see it specifically because I wanted to be a part of history.
Yeah.
I wanted to contribute to the very opening of Star Wars Episode 7, which could possibly be the biggest grossest movie of all time.
Yeah.
It has to beat Avatar and Gone with the Wind. Those are the two above it.
Right. I think it's possible because I'm already seeing it twice in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
I would recommend this movie to just about anyone. I even had some people ask me today. They said,
"I don't like Star Wars.
If I've never seen Star Wars, can I still enjoy this movie?" And I said, "Yes, but you're going to miss out on some subplots, and even the main plot. There's going to be some things that you may not get the full grasp of it. I think you would still enjoy it because I think it's a good, well-paced action movie that has some good characters." But I think that if you want to get the full experience out of it, you need to have seen the original trilogy.
See, I want to know what it would be like to see this without any Star Wars prior experience.
Yeah. I mean,
because obviously J.J. Abrams and everyone that made this film knows Star Wars.
Right.
So how do you make a film that you assume everybody already knows?
Yeah.
Market it to someone that has never seen something like this before.
Right.
Because you have to add so much subtle detail not even subtle detail, just out front detail. Be like, this is the bad guy. This is the good guy.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really happen. There are some times where clearly this is the good guy, and clearly this is the bad guy.
Well, I mean, generally stormtroopers and Kylo Ren, they look bad.
Right.
They look bad. And even people who haven't seen Star Wars...
Bad A.
Yeah, that's right. People who haven't even seen Star Wars, they still know of Star Wars. They've heard of it. They've seen Darth Vader. They know All in Black, probably bad guy.
Yeah.
They've seen pictures of stormtroopers before, usually, so they get the idea that they're bad guys. So either way, if I had to give it a rating, this is what I've been saying all day, I would give it a 9.4 out of 10. That's my rating. It's very specific.
What's the minus 0.6?
The minus 0.6 comes from some dialogue things that I thought were annoying. And
the jokes that won't last?
Yeah, partially. There was just some things in the movie J.J. Abrams threw in there because he wanted it to be for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought that he went a little bit overboard because there are multiple conversations where it seems like he just copied and pasted direct lines from the original trilogy and put it in the new trilogy.
Yes.
And they may have tweaked it slightly, but it was essentially the exact same thing. And if that happened a couple times, that'd be cool. Oh, yeah, sweet. But it happened a lot. And I caught so many of them, and I was like, this may be, I thought it may have gone a little bit too far on trying to just mimic the original trilogy. That's why I give it the 0.6, because I thought it could have been, it was an enjoyable movie, all the effects were awesome, we've talked about a lot of good things, but it wasn't, good movie directors and writers, what they do is they give you something you didn't even know you wanted.
Yeah.
And they make you love it. I got everything that I thought I wanted out of this movie, but I didn't get anything that I was like, wow, I didn't even want that, and I'm glad I'm totally taken by surprise.
Except for that one pilot scene.
I mean, that was cool, but that was the one scene.
Yeah, but it was awesome. But it was awesome because it's specifically what happened in my head, and I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
Speaking of him reusing dialogue, there's one scene specifically I remember where they're explaining the Force to someone, and they specifically say exactly what old Ben Kenobi said. about how the Force is everywhere and through everything.
Yeah, it surrounds us, it penetrates us, it holds the galaxy together.
Literally verbatim. I'm like,
essentially the same.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I think I caught. There's a few things where I was disappointed where he didn't steal from. Which, if we want to get specifically into spoilers now, because I have no more non-spoilers.
Yeah, I'm done with non-spoilers.
Listen, spoilers from here on out. You got 20 minutes of non-spoiler review. We both said awesome. Go watch the movie. Spoiler time.
Spoiler alert.
So,
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
There's this one time where Han sees Leia because they begin not together. They're in separate locations.
Yeah.
And they have a reunion, and I really wanted Leia to say, I love you. And I really wanted Han to say either I know or to say back, I love you.
I wanted him to say it. In the scene specifically, I thought he was going to say it. There was like this tension between them, which I know it's like really given us a lot of backstory by not saying anything at all. Like, obviously they've had a really rough patch in their past, and they're broken. Like, their relationship is broken apart. But they obviously still care about each other, but they're just broken.
Yeah. Because one of our predictions was correct.
It was.
One of yours was correct, and one of mine was correct.
We were both correct in this.
We were correct on about
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren
was Han Solo's and Leia Organa's son.
And was trained by Luke in Jedi camp, and then he turned against Luke, and essentially he destroyed the camp, and then he went to the dark side.
Yep, which was your prediction.
Which was my prediction. So the reason Leia and Han were separated is because of their son. Because of Kylo Ren, which eventually you find out is Ben Solo.
Ben Solo. Okay, and his old name is only used once. In the entire movie.
He yells it, and you're like, what was that?
I know, I was like, ugh! When he was going down to the bridge and was looking at him, I was like, he's going to say his name. He's going to call out. I was thinking he was going to say Jason, because that's like the expanded universe name for his son. Which, if he would have said Jason, it would have made my other prediction correct, or more likely. My other prediction was that Rey was the sister of Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Rey, as far as we know, it's not confirmed that Rey is related to Kylo Ren at all.
But nothing was refuted. So, like, my prediction might still be correct. I doubt it at this point. What I think, I guess we should say this at the end.
Wait a second.
Prediction.
Wait a second.
Okay.
I just thought of something. And we're going to throw it in right now.
Okay, let's do it.
What episode did we find out that Luke and Leia were brother and sister?
In the third. Well, it's referenced in the fifth, or in the Empire Strikes Back, and he tells her in episode 6.
So it's still possible that Rey and Kylo Ren are brother and sister, and we won't find out till later.
Right.
But the reason I think they're not is because, one, Han and Rey hang out for, like, most of the movie, and he never says anything.
But when he finds her, at first he gives her, like, when he realizes it, he gives her this look. And so does Leia. When Leia sees her, she gives her a look. Like, there's this knowing look in their eye where, like, they get, like, suspicious. They're like, I think I know who this is.
No, because the first time Rey and Han meet, Rey's hiding in the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
Falcon.
Also, I rewatched Return of the Jedi, and definitely 3PO says Falcon, and so does, like, an Imperial guy.
Yeah.
They're like, it's the Millennium Falcon.
There's no A in it. It's a U.
The Falcon.
Falcon.
Right. But some people say Falcon.
I know. But most of the people say, some people call Leia Leia.
And some people call Han Han.
Most people call Han Han.
Yeah, like Lando.
Yeah.
In Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And then the random, like, smuggler dudes that he was swindling, like, they all called him Han.
That's funny.
But he was, like, Irish, so.
Yeah, obviously. Space Irish.
The Space Irish and the Space, like, Singaporeans came after him. It was hilarious.
And The Force Awakens that you're talking about.
The Force Awakens.
When he's in the middle of the ship.
Yeah, when they first
meet, when he gets Millennium Falcon back.
Yeah.
Also, what did you think when Rey and Finn were trying to leave Jakku and they're going for this ship?
Yeah.
And she's like, not that one.
I did not see that coming. I was like, no way. So they're like getting strafed by TIE fighters and they're running, which is awesome. In the trailer. Yeah, everything is awesome. And they're running, and Finn's like, how about that one over there? And she's like, no, it's a piece of junk. And he just, like, references to something off screen. We're like, okay. And so they're running towards this big ship.
Because he's not a pilot at all.
He's not.
He can't fly worth a darn. So it could be, like, literally just
It could be a father.
Stupid.
And so she is obviously a mechanic and knows her stuff. And so she's running. They're going to this big ship, and then it gets shot by this TIE fighter, blows up in this huge mess. And then they both look at each other, and then they essentially...
And there's a joke here, and she's like, well, this is not that bad after all. I'm like, really? Just run. You don't need to say anything. Just go to it.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, it's your second best.
And then the screen pans to where they start running again, and it's the freaking Millennium Falcon.
It's a Millennium Falcon!
It's the Millennium Falcon!
And people cheer for that in the theater.
I was like, yeah! We all, my theater, everybody just started laughing. Because, I just didn't see it coming. I was like, no. I didn't
see it coming either.
It just came out of the blue.
I'm like, why is that there? Because Han should have it. And later you find out that he got stolen from him, and then someone traded it and pawned it and stolen it.
Right.
And all
So
this. That's why it's on Jakku.
Which actually fits the storyline of the Millennium Falcon because it wasn't Han's forever. Like he got it from Lando from a card game, and Lando got it from somebody else. So it's like
that's exactly
that makes sense. It's like a smuggler's ship. Like it's going to be sketchy, and we all love it. It's like that sketchy uncle that we all love at the holidays. Okay, that was weird. Let's go.
Let's talk about Finn for a little bit. Okay. Finn was part of the First Order.
Yep.
Find out that his first mission is when he lands on Jakku. And this is the very first scene in the movie. It was Jakku. And they're wrangling up everybody in the village, and they're trying to find...
massacring them.
They're trying to find Poe, and they're trying to find BB-8.
Yeah.
Because there's a map that leads to Luke Skywalker.
Right. Which was given by some random old dude.
Yeah. That's a guy I didn't know. There's this random old dude, and he knows a whole bunch. And I'm like, who's this guy? Who's he supposed to be?
He seems to be in the know, but
it turns out he's nothing.
And I thought, for a second, oh, maybe he's like General Dodonna from the original trilogy, which is just some guy with a beard in the background. Yeah. He has a couple lines, but there's no way he lives for 30 years. Like he had white hair in the original trilogy. And then I thought, maybe it's maybe it was like Crix Maydeen, or maybe it was Wedge Antilles or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Because he references the general as the princess, and and Poe says, "Oh, she doesn't go by that anymore." And the old guy's like, "Well, to some, she still is royalty or something." And so I thought, so he's from Alderaan, and I was thinking the Antilles, I think, are from Alderaan,
something like that.
Maybe they're from Corellia. I can't remember. Either way, interesting. There were multiple characters in the movie that were basically like Jedi people in terms of knowledge. But not they couldn't use the Force.
What do you mean?
Like this guy.
Oh, he knew
about the Force, and he knew about the Jedis, and so did the old Maz. I think is her name, Maz. The
yellow,
the CGI chick with the
from the cantina.
Yeah, from the cantina, who said over 1,000 years old. Apparently, is what Han said.
Essentially, she's the woman from The Incredibles.
Essentially, she's awesome though. I really liked her. She knew about the Force too, and she was like. Kind of like a spiritual guide, not necessarily a Force user, but like kind of worshipped the Force to an extent.
She knew a whole bunch, but she just worked at Cantina. So she knew some things. She had Luke's lightsaber somehow.
Luke/Anakin's, the blue one.
Yeah. And she's like, "This is a story for another time." I'm like, I respect that.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they didn't get bogged down in the movie. I was really afraid. Like one of the things with the reboots is sometimes they get bogged down in trying to cover the details. Yeah. Especially this one because it takes place after the original trilogy, so it's not. I guess I shouldn't call it a reboot because it's not. But they're returning to the galaxy, like we're returning to the Star Wars universe. 30 years later, there's a ton of stuff that's happened. Mm-hmm. It would be really easy for them to get bogged down in trying to explain how they are where they are, but they don't. And I'm glad they didn't, because I was afraid of that to a little bit. I was afraid of getting bogged down in the details.
Anyway, we got on this specifically because I wanted to talk about Kylo Ren and the very first scene with Finn. Mm-hmm. His first mission ever is to the village. Kylo Ren is essentially like, round everybody up, find who has the map, kill literally everybody else. Put them in the square and kill them all. And I'm like, dang, that's dark and violent.
And not only that, Poe freaking shoots a blaster beam at him.
That was so cool.
And Kylo stops it with the Force.
Stops the blaster beam. He doesn't deflect it. He literally just stops it in midair. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
And then he goes about doing other things, and the blaster beam is still there.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have to focus on it anymore. I'm like, he's got to have more Force than Vader.
He has this technique that we've never seen before in any Star Wars.
I guess.
Where he can paralyze somebody, too.
Yeah.
By just, like, using the Force and make them in stasis, essentially. Like, they're stuck. And he does that with the blaster bolt. It's the first time we see it. And then he does it to Rey.
He does it to Rey.
I can't think of anything else where he actually does it. And to the point where he doesn't have to, like, put his hand anywhere. He's just, like, walking around.
Yeah.
Talking.
You can, like, freeze it and then go and do whatever else you want. And it's so cool.
It is super cool.
But Finn, I think at the very beginning, Finn's friend dies. One of his stormtrooper friend dies.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, what am I doing?
Right.
And then they all corral everybody in the center, and they're like, kill everybody. And Finn acts like he's shooting.
But he doesn't actually shoot. Which is noticed, I think, by Kylo. Or at least
and Phasma.
And Phasma.
Captain Phasma.
Captain.
The only female stormtrooper you've ever seen, and she doesn't amount to anything.
Yeah, which we're really disappointed about.
Yeah.
Because I think Captain Phasma looks really sick. And, I mean, they have... what's her name? I mean, she's Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones, but
you can't see her face.
Is that what it is?
Look it up. Captain Phasma, Gwendolyn Christie.
Gwendolyn Christie. So Gwendolyn Christie. She has some lines in it, but that's it. Like, she really doesn't have any major role in the plot. Maybe she will in the future.
Maybe.
I hope she does in the future.
She got captured.
Yeah.
And then, like, nothing happened. Like,
yeah,
she took down the shields on the Starkiller, and then
I thought she was going to turn on him and
she just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Like they made a joke about throwing her to a trash compactor.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of funny, and then she just disappeared. So I guess they did.
Yeah, it's kind of.
But
they do have trash compactors because he was in janitorial
Yeah.
services apparently, which is really funny.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things that's one of the jokes that I don't think will last.
No, I don't think it'll be funny in the long run.
Yeah.
But I think it does fit his character though. Finn really isn't. I don't think he's like a very skillful character. I think he's good with shooting the blasters, I guess, with his when he's like gunning for people. But
no, he's really good with a blaster.
Yeah,
he's like. Here's the thing: he's Jar Jar Binks' equivalent with the blaster.
Oh yeah,
Jar Jar Binks
is so good with the blaster.
He gets that 3-piece in Attack of the Clones. I thought
he does,
or whichever one.
When he's like just ducking and he like has the stupid Trade Federation.
But Finn knows what he's doing with a blaster. Finn looks for a blaster the whole movie. Right. Like he eventually gets Luke's lightsaber. He's like,
and he uses it.
Can I have a blaster instead?
Which I thought was cool. They had someone who's not a Jedi use the lightsaber. Which before that only Han does it on Hoth
to open up a lukewarm tauntaun.
Yep. So
that will last forever.
Overall, I would say that Finn was a good character
Finn.
Because he was the one who really had his character was really about morality. Like,
yeah,
because you just see this huge transition, and I've been reading some reviews online where people are like, "Oh, there's no character development." I'm like, how can there be character development? We're just meeting these people, and we're learning about their character.
Except for Finn,
Finn...
Well, essentially, the First Order, they are groomed from birth, you find out, to be in the First Order. And the First Order is brutal. The very first shot of them taking on the village, they kill everybody. Like, they don't miss a shot.
They massacre everyone.
They shoot things. They have good accuracy.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams is like, listen, these stormtroopers are elite.
Yeah.
They can be precise like old Ben Kenobi said they could be.
Right. Exactly.
So
they're not pushovers anymore.
They're not. And all these stormtroopers destroy Poe's X-Wing on the village. I'm like, that was cool.
Yeah, they missed once.
Yeah.
Out of all those shots.
Yeah. Like, they couldn't even get... Poe couldn't take off because he got shot.
Yeah.
By a blaster. That's cool.
And it was from like medium range. So,
yeah.
So he got shot enough that he couldn't take off. I don't know. Finn, I do like Finn. I don't think Finn's my favorite though.
Poe would have been my favorite, but he wasn't in the movie very much.
Well, at the opening scene, I was surprised that they opened with Poe. I thought they would open with Rey.
Poe and Finn, kind of.
True. They essentially opened with, which you don't really know that it's Finn, but you can figure it out.
Yeah. Because he's the only one that doesn't walk rigid. Yeah. He's the only one that's not like, oh, I'm Stormtrooper robot Nazi. Right. He's kind of like, you can tell he's afraid, even though he has a mask on.
Yeah, you can tell he's like shocked by what's going on.
But Poe gets captured, and then Finn helps him escape this fleet.
It's the First Order Star Destroyer, and we don't know if there's more than one. We only really see one in the entire movie. You really only see one.
So maybe
which they're also. I guess one of my critiques of the movie is I'm not sure what the political landscape of the galaxy is like. In the other movies, the other trilogies, it's very clear, right? Like original trilogy, the Empire controls everything. They dissolve the Senate. Yeah. No democracy. Boom. We have a government in place in the galaxy for context. In the prequels, you have the Republic, and you see that, and you see separatists going on. You have an idea of the political situation. In this movie, they reference the Republic,
in the opening crawl.
In the opening crawl.
And Leia's the general of the Republic Resistance Army. The Republic is funding the Resistance.
Right, but I don't think it's the direct arm. It's not like the military of the Republic.
No.
I think it's like almost like a rebel group or a terrorist group, I guess, would be like from the First Order's perspective, they're like a terrorist group.
Yeah.
Like this insurgency group is funded by the Republic, but they're not the Republic. They're called the Resistance. So they're different. So I wasn't sure if that meant that there's territory in the galaxy that's the Republic and territory that's the First Order, or what that is. Like, why would it be a resistance to the First Order unless they were just two paramilitary groups in the Republic that were fighting each other? I just have a hard time. I just don't understand the political situation. And they kept referencing the Republic fleet.
Yeah.
They referenced it like 3 times, and I was like, oh, that's going to be something in one of the newer movies. In the next ones, the Republic fleet's going to show up, and we're going to be like, holy cow, that's awesome.
The Resistance surprisingly acts really quickly, and they get to places. There's a scene right when they're at when Rey essentially finds Luke Skywalker's lightsaber that has a Force vision and sees all these things in the future. And at first, I'm like,
so things in the past and things in the future. And
I'm like, has that ever happened in Star Wars before?
Yes, to an extent. I think they're definitely limited by technology, maybe. I don't know. Either way, when Luke's on Dagobah, he
goes in and he fights himself as Darth Vader.
That's like a Force vision. And when he's training with Yoda, Yoda says, like, he's like lifting stuff, he's doing the handstand, he's like, and when you meditate, like, you'll see the future and the past, and then he's like, Han, Leia!
Oh, yeah.
And then he drops everybody.
Because you don't see it from his perspective, but you see that.
We're not in his mind.
Yeah.
In this one, we see a Force vision that's in her mind, and it's awesome. I thought that was a really cool situation. I was like, what?
What's going on? The only thing that I was confused about that is, like, has this ever happened in Star Wars before?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes sense. But she finds it, and she's like, I don't want to be any part of this anymore. So she runs away.
Yeah, that was an interesting reaction. Right. I kind of liked that reaction.
I did, too.
Because it would be too easy for her to just, like, pick it up.
Yeah, I want it. So
it is.
The old cantina lady gives it to
Maz.
Finn, and Finn is like, yeah, I'll take it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's like Finn, though. Like,
yeah.
I feel like Rey's character is very standoffish.
Well, Rey tried to get back to Jakku forever.
Yeah, she's stuck in that loop, which I'm glad that Maz talks to her, because Maz, I think, breaks down her barrier.
Oh.
Her barrier of wanting to go home. Because Maz looks in her eyes and essentially is like, you've been waiting for people that you know aren't going to come back.
Right. Because that's the whole point. She's on Jakku waiting for her family to come back, or whoever dropped her off.
Yeah. She's waiting to be picked back up by her family, essentially.
And
we don't know who that is.
I have a prediction.
We have predictions about who
that might be.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're the same prediction.
I bet.
They're probably not.
Do you want to say it on 3?
No.
Okay.
Once we get to predictions, we can say it on whatever count we want.
Okay.
But I felt like Rey was the main character.
I think she is.
I love that she's strong, independent female.
Yeah.
And she's the main character of a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
When has that ever happened? What other main character? She is competing with Katniss Everdeen right now.
She
strong female in sci-fi movies, of any movie, strong female lead.
Of an action movie.
Yeah, of almost any movie or something like that. And that never happens. Strong, like, she fights, and she's good at fighting. Yeah. She pilots. She does all these generally masculine things.
Right, like, she's a mechanic.
She's better at flying the Millennium Falcon than Han Solo is.
Yeah. It's
like,
crazy.
This is insane. Like, she's so good. And halfway through the movie, I'm like, I really like that they did this. I'm glad it's not Finn. I'm glad it's not Poe. Yeah. I'm glad that it's Rey.
And let's take a step back and look at the dynamics of the whole movie. Finn is black.
Yeah.
Rey is a female, and she's a man. She's going to be Luke Skywalker. Like, that's who she is, essentially.
She's also British.
She's the Jedi.
She has a British accent for whatever reason.
And then Poe is Latino.
Is he?
Yeah. And so, yeah. What they essentially did, which none of us...
His name is Isaac. Are you sure he's Latino?
That's what I read, that he's Latino.
Guatemalan.
Huh. So,
Guatemalan
essentially...
mother and a Cuban father.
What Star Wars did was... Which none of us noticed, because we didn't even care. Because the movie is so freaking good. But they just made, like, history. They just made, like, the 3 leads of this movie. None of them white males. Which is every other Star Wars movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But they do it seamless. It's not like it's forced. Like, nothing was forced. Like, sometimes I feel like... yeah. Except for The Force Did Awaken. But I like with Rey being the lead. Like there are some movies that I watch and I'm like, wow, they really forced the female to be the lead in this. It seems forced. This one, she's on it. By the end of the movie, she's my favorite. Out of all the characters, she's my favorite. I started with Poe. The first scene, I was like, dude, Poe's awesome. He's my favorite.
Poe was really cool, and I liked him a lot until he got captured, and he's face to face with Kylo Ren. Yeah, and he's like, he breaks the silence. He's like, which one of us talks first? I'm like, shut up.
No, but that fits his character. He's a fly boy. He's like,
I know, but
egotistical and a little bit arrogant.
He's the Han Solo of this movie.
He is the Han Solo for real.
But I do like him a lot. He's also fantastic. Let's talk about the scene.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so they're in a fight over the cantina where what is her name?
Maz.
Over Maz's cantina, the Empire. When they first get there, there's a droid. Everyone knows BB-8 is a specific color, specific model. Yeah. So there's spies for the Republic and there's spies for the Empire. And they show up at the cantina, and both spies go opposite ways. They're like, I know where the droid is. I know where the droid is. Right. So the Empire gets there first, barely, and then the Republic gets there, and
The Resistance,
and then there's this giant fight. And then Finn is running around after he gets his lightsaber, and he's looking up, and at this point, he thinks Poe is dead, because they crash-landed on Jakku a long time ago. Right. And Poe flies over him, and he blows up some stormtroopers on the ground, and gets, like, a 3-piece of TIE fighters, and he does a 180, and gets another 3-piece, and when he first flew over Flynn, and he killed the people on the ground, and he got a 3-piece in the air, I'm like, quad feed! And then he got more, and I'm like,
dude, it was nuts. I love that they gave that much attention to that. Like he comes down from the air, takes that TIE fighter, another TIE fighter, and he's like snipes the stormtroopers from an X-wing that were around Han and Finn and Chewbacca without killing them, which was nuts. And so
he's probably the best pilot that's ever been in Star Wars.
I've never seen a pilot better than that. Right, like in the Star Wars universe.
And then there's the other scene where at the very end of the Starkiller base, where he closes his X-wings.
And he makes it through that little slit.
The little thing, and
the TIE fighter came up. Yeah, it was sick, dude. Like, Poe is the man,
the best, pilot.
Yeah, I mean he's literally the man. That was really cool. And when that happened, I leaned over to my roommate who I went to go see it with, and I said, "That's me when I play Battlefront." And he just started laughing. So Poe Dameron is actually Justin.
Oh, okay.
But not really, though. So that scene was amazing. I mean, all the action scenes in this movie were on it. They're just on point. And I didn't feel like they were too long or forced or any... Like, it just was natural. Natural progression. So I really did it. I really did enjoy it. And, man, I don't know. I just really want to watch it again right now.
Right. Well, you have to wait till tomorrow.
I know. Sorry. I don't want to, though. What else do we want to talk about?
I have a whole list. I came home and I'm like, we're doing an episode tomorrow. I'm going to write down everything that I can give. No one loses an arm in this movie.
True.
I don't remember seeing anybody lose a limb.
I don't think so.
It breaks Star Wars tradition.
It does.
Everyone always loses a limb. Probably because of Kylo Ren's hilt.
Essentially.
I'm gonna
Which Kylo Ren's hilt makes sense. We see in the lightsaber battle that he uses it to like get somebody's shoulder.
He's locked in a battle with Finn.
And so then he just like moves his hand.
He moves the hilt and he like twists it and it gets in Finn's shoulder.
Right.
And Finn's like, wow, it hurts.
So it's effective.
What did you think about Finn with the lightsaber in his fight?
So
very brave.
Super brave. I mean, that's Finn. Finn is brave. Yeah. I think out of the characters, he's the like idealist and the more like the person who has all the moral. Like he's guided by his morals. Like out of all of them, I think he's going to be that guy. Rey isn't guided by morals. She was guided by this family ties. Like that's her motivations. And then Poe is motivated by I don't know, being the best pilot. Yeah, it's not really clear because he didn't get a whole lot of screen time.
Unfortunately.
At least
I think the very first time Finn got the lightsaber was in the melee fight with the other stormtrooper.
Yeah.
What did you think of that melee weapon?
Dude, that was pretty cool.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Because that's completely new. Yeah, I didn't know if you would like that or not.
Well, it's kind of like those sticks that Grievous's bodyguards had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He like spins it around his arm and does stuff like that. And I'm like, wow,
it was interesting. It's like a, what are those called? Tonfas?
I don't know.
It's a type of like melee weapon. It was interesting. I was glad that he won. I mean,
Finn?
Yeah. I mean, they call him Traitor too, which is awesome.
He's like, Traitor! Because everyone knows who he is.
Yeah. Which is sick. I love it. Yeah, I thought it was cool that Finn used the lightsaber so much, but really, the whole ending of the movie with Rey, and her like starting to accept the fact that she can use the Force.
Yeah.
And then the lightsaber battle between her and Kylo.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "This is weird," because she's like never used a lightsaber before.
Uh-huh.
But she does know how to fight, which we see.
She fights
from Jakku.
very well.
So she is a fighter, but she's never used a lightsaber before. And then Kylo, I was like, man, he's like a Sith guy. Like he knows how to use lightsaber. He
should know what he's doing.
But he may not, because in the Knights of Ren picture that we get, the little glimpse of them, none of the other guys have lightsabers. So who would he practice against? Dudes like stormtroopers with the buzzy sticks, like.
He rages throughout the movie like 2 or 3 times.
Dude,
and when he gets mad, he lights it up.
Which is, I like Kylo Ren. I don't think I still have some mixed feelings about him, because there are some things that he did that I didn't like. Every time he took off his mask, it was kind of like a weird dynamic, but maybe it still fits. I'm kind of like leaving my critique of Kylo Ren to the side until I see him in another episode, because I think he's going to have a lot of character development. Because he was kind of conflicted in this movie.
He was. And
we see that in a lot of different ways. He's very unstable. We see that in all the temper tantrums that he throws. You can tell he's unstable, too, with the way he talks. Like, he has these pauses when he's speaking, and he has this, like, fake calmness about him at times, where, like, he's speaking, and he's not trying to be in, like, it just seems like he's talking normal. It's like he's intimidating in his quietness sometimes, in the way he approaches it, which the volume that he uses with his voice, which is like the direct opposite of Darth Vader. Because like Darth Vader in Episode 4, the first time you see him getting on the blockade runner and like getting Captain Antilles, he's like, he like yells like, "Tear the ship apart until you find them alive!" Like he just like yells, like he's scary in that way. Kylo Ren is scary in like this unstable personality.
But Kylo Ren is he's not like a general in the army or anything.
No, he's not.
He's respected because he's a Sith.
Like,
type, but he's not like, people don't respect him because of his military power.
Well, he's not a military leader. He's like, and he does command people though, but I think it's more like Darth Vader is technically, where he's like the envoy of the Emperor. He's like he's a representative of, in this case, Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah. Or Snoke. I can't remember.
Snoke,
I think it's Snoke.
Played by Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Do you know who else Andy Serkis played?
What's Tater's process? Yes, that was weird, but I did it, so get over it. Snoke. What do you think of him? I was so confused at the beginning of it, because the first time you see Supreme Leader Snoke, he's huge! He's like the biggest thing ever. I was like, this is so weird. This is too much. And then
you find out
the next scene, you find out that it's a hologram, which I love, because we don't know his proportions.
Yes,
which makes him mysterious.
Which even goes into
Darth Plagueis.
No,
he is Darth Plagueis.
Well, maybe. Well, that goes into a prediction I have, but we're not there yet.
Okay,
but you might like that prediction. R2-D2 is back. C-3PO is back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Starkiller base for a second.
Okay.
What did you think? It was a planet.
I was kind of.
It shoots a giant death laser, except it shoots 5 at a time.
Well,
it goes at 5 planets at once.
It shoots, and the planet doesn't really have to move.
Yeah.
It just shoots across space.
That's right.
Which makes it deadlier, I would say. Also uses the sun as its fuel, which was interesting.
I think this is where it gets its name. Essentially, it sucks all the power out of the sun.
Yeah.
And then it uses that to fire. Now, I think sucking the power and destroying a sun is much more powerful than just shooting a laser and destroying 5 planets.
Yeah.
So, I don't think the Starkiller base is as strong as is using its full potential.
Right, because it kills stars.
It destroys stars, and instead, it's just shooting at planets super far away.
I would say, as well, that another reason that I dock it by those 0.6 amount of points is because they had like a Death Star in it. Like, essentially, I mean, it's not a Death Star, it's like the new and improved Death Star, but it's a Death Star. Like, it blows up planets. It's a giant battle station that blows up planets. Except for it is a planet, sort of.
Yeah.
It's like a whole planet that they turned into a battle station.
It was much more heavily guarded than the Death Star.
Oh, for sure. And there wasn't, like, a clear and present weakness. Like, they found one, but it wasn't, like, very convenient. Like, they had to
do a whole bunch.
It was like legitimately, you have to take your military and bombard it and destroy it. Yeah. Like, it's not like shoot one missile in this 2-diameter hole and then you blow up the whole thing.
Right.
It was much more involved than that, which I liked.
It was cool. And I think the only reason that worked is because it was sucking up the sun to shoot again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think if I don't think if they had that much energy inside of it, it would have affected it that much.
Yeah, I think so too. It was all the harnessed energy within it that blew it up. So I liked Starkiller Base. I just thought it was cheap. I just wanted, I was cool with it not being a Death Star again, because we've seen that twice already. I mean, that's part of the reason some people don't like the Return of the Jedi, is because it's a Death Star game. Yeah. Death Star 2.0, which is technically bigger than the first Death Star. It's like 3 times the size.
But you can't tell.
But you really can't tell. And in this one, they show the size difference between the Death Star
and the planet
and the Starkiller Base, and it's way bigger. But I was like, whatever.
Okay,
it's not a big deal. So I was a little bit like, it was cool, and they also called it Starkiller because that was the name for Skywalker. Like before George Lucas decided on Skywalker being Luke's last name.
Yeah,
it was originally Starkiller.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Huh. I have a thing here,
which is a cool nod.
Kylo removes his mask a lot.
He does.
Which I don't necessarily like because it takes the intimidation factor away from him.
It does to an extent, but I don't know how they could show the conflict within himself without him taking off the mask.
Also, it might go into a prediction of him turning to the light side.
Yeah.
If it starts showing his face. But at the very end, Rey scars him up real good on the face.
Dude,
so maybe he won't ever take his mask off again, just out of shame.
Yeah.
Because he has a giant scar on his face now.
I don't know. I like the idea of him being able to come back. Because, I mean, and that models Darth Vader. Because Darth Vader comes back. The whole lightsaber battle between Rey and Kylo Ren was awesome. I was surprised that Rey was able to beat him. But he was also injured, so we can't take that.
He got shot.
He got shot by Chewbacca
before he fought Finn, and then before he fought Rey.
Right. So he definitely was at disadvantage when he engaged Rey.
He tried to convince her to. He tried to train Rey.
Yeah, he offered to train.
He's like, "Listen, I can show you the world.
I can show you the Force."
But when he said that, I pictured that.
I can show you the world. That
exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, nah, Disney. Also,
Kylo was like really earlier in the movie when they referenced a girl. He was like, "What girl?" You know, like there was a part when they're talking about BB-8 and he's with a girl, and he's like, "What girl?" Like he. That's why again, I think that. Well, I guess we're not in prediction mode yet, but
do you think they're still related?
I think they're related.
You think he knows he has a sister?
I don't know if it may possibly still be sister, but I think it's something else. But they're related.
Okay.
I think it's cousin.
Oh. Okay.
I think
it's Luke's daughter.
It's Luke's daughter.
That's not my prediction.
That's what I think it is.
Han Solo finally dies.
Oh, I was so sad. It was so emotional.
Leia's like, Han, get our son back. And Han's like, well, okay. And then he tries to convince Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. And I feel like either he was close to turning, or he was just playing him the whole time.
Right. I think he's unstable. I mean, his eyes were watering up. Mm-hmm. So I think that he still has some good in him, as Luke would say.
Then I know, but he was just. And then he just killed him.
Right.
Which everyone saw from a mile away.
Right. I mean, everybody knew that was going to happen, essentially. I mean, the scene was too perfect for him to die, too. On a bridge, with the sun coming through the, the light was coming through, drafting through, dark scene. I was like, he's going to die.
But then he gets the lightsaber through him, and then Han Solo puts his hand on
his
Kylo's face,
and then he falls.
And then I'm like, wow.
I know. I was like,
and then Chewie freaks out and gets like a multi-kill.
Dude, he kills a bunch of stormtroopers and shoots Kylo.
Yeah.
Which I half expected Chewie to go out in a blaze of glory because of his life debt. But I'm okay with him not because...
Well, Han says that Chewie likes Rey.
Yeah.
And then Rey can understand Chewie.
Right.
Which is interesting.
And again, maybe son, daughter thing. I don't know.
I don't remember there ever being a scene where Leia and Rey were in the same scene together.
They do, because they hug each other after Han dies.
I don't remember.
Yeah, like Rey goes up to Leia and gives her a hug.
Oh.
And so, I felt like...
So, do you think Han and Leia are hiding Rey and Kylo are brother and sister to protect Rey?
Perhaps. But, again, I also think that she might be Luke's daughter.
Which is why you think maybe Luke just stood there and didn't say anything when she showed up at the Irish Peaks.
Essentially.
Also, I can definitely see how Luke could fall off of that and die. Mark Hamill, those cliffs are dangerous.
Yeah, it was... It's crazy. But man, I was so happy.
Tell me why you love that scene so much.
I just love the idea that he has been in hiding, and then she finds him, and she's finally accepted the fact that she can use the Force. She has that lightsaber battle with Kylo. Mm-hmm. She gets there, and there's that long hike up the island,
super long,
which I was like, this is so cool, because that's like it reminds me not necessarily of Dagobah, but the idea that the Jedi are kind of like mystical and like spiritual, and like she has to go through like all those steps as like the trial or like the long journey to get to him, and then finally at the end, like you see a hooded figure, and which you obviously know is Luke. And
there's no buildings or anything. He's just up there.
There's some buildings.
I don't see a building at all.
There's some buildings. It was an old monastery in Ireland.
And it was supposed to be the first Jedi temple, I believe. Yeah, is how they explain
That's how they explain it. And when she goes through the part where there's building, like you can see on the ground, there's like some supplies and stuff, so you know Luke's there. And so finally, she's like elevation-wise, she's down a little bit, and she's like looking up. She's probably like 30 feet, 20 feet maybe from Luke, and he just like slow. And the music's going ham at this point, which I love the music of John Williams.
The music was awesome.
It was so great.
The music was awesome because specifically
it was new.
To go back to Han and Kylo on the bridge, it was like swelling up, and it was like good like father-son music. Like this is going to turn out really well. Yeah. And then he gets sliced in half, and I'm like, well, he doesn't get sliced in half, but he gets killed. Yeah. And I'm like, like I was listening to the music, and I know he's going to die, but I'm like, this music is not telling me.
It makes me think he won't.
Yeah.
Also, the music had a lot of new melodies in it, which I was happy for, and it also had nods to the old stuff.
Right.
Like, if you saw an old character or something, like, there'd be, like...
There's the Imperial March in it.
Yeah, there'd be, like, maybe, like, a couple lines.
A couple bars.
Yeah, like 10 bars of music would be, like, back to the old melody, like, hidden in there or something. Yeah. I love the music. By the way, the music's blaring. You see Luke Skywalker on this island, and he slowly turns, and, like, you see his face. And he's wearing, like, the old-style robes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like Not the prequel robes of the Jedi, like the Alec Guinness. Is it Guinness? I can't remember.
I don't know what you're saying.
The original Obi-Wan Kenobi.
A New Hope.
A New Hope, so Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
Is Alec something.
Okay.
Is the actor's
Baldwin.
name. Alec Baldwin? No. Not Alec Baldwin. He's wearing essentially the same type of robes as Obi-Wan, which is so cool. And he just, like, slowly turns, and you can look... The look on his face, like... You know he's feeling some emotions in the moment.
Right.
You look at Rey, and she just pulls out Luke's old lightsaber and is offering it to him. And you can see the look on her face. And I was like, oh my gosh.
What did you think? There was no dialogue.
There was no dialogue. And I was cool with that.
Were you cool with that?
I'm fine with that.
I'm like,
it leaves it so open-ended.
I wanted him to say something.
I don't even... Because the music was so good right there. And the moment wasn't... It didn't last super long.
Yeah.
I liked it because... You saw Luke, and it leaves it so... It ends so well because it completes the plot of looking for Luke Skywalker within the movie.
Yes.
That was... From the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, that's like the underlying
Who was there with her? Chewie
and...
C-3PO? Or Chewie and R2-D2?
I think Chewie, R2-D2...
Did C-3PO stay with Leia?
I think so.
Why does C-3PO have a red arm?
Well, that's the thing with C-3PO... Through every episode of Star Wars, he's had a part that's a different color, except for Return of the Jedi, where he finally has full gold. So, like A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi, he like his leg changes colors between A New Hope. It's just like some small little detail. So then when they made the prequels, they did it too. Like they made him naked in the first one, and then like slowly he gets better and better until Episode 6, and then he's like perfected. Well, then. Just to continue the trend, they just like
give him a red arm,
give him a different arm or something. So obviously, Chewie and R2-D2 are with him. I just loved it how it completes the story, but it leaves it so open for more. And there's so many questions I have at the end of the movie.
Well, Rey goes and trains with Luke, you can assume, and Kylo Ren is told by Snoke to go and train with him to complete his training. Because he's not completed yet.
Right, which is obvious that because he gets destroyed by Rey, who's an untrained Jedi.
Yeah.
She's like a Padawan, essentially.
However, Kylo Ren has some incredible Force powers, as we've talked about before. Yeah. And Rey, without even seeing anybody ever use a Jedi mind trick, she uses a Jedi mind trick effectively.
Yeah. Well, she tries it a couple times. Also, did you know that Stormtrooper was Daniel Craig?
No,
It was Daniel
James
Craig.
Bond.
Yeah, because they were filming Spectre and Star Wars at the same time in London,
Really?
and so he just went to the other studio and asked if he could be in it. And he's that stormtrooper, and he has a line.
That's funny.
And his line is like, "Oh, you can."
I'll tighten those
Yeah.
restraints or something like that.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's funny.
Which I think it was hilarious. So I was like, "That's so cool." Also, J.J. Abrams puts this one dude in all of his movies. He's like his childhood friend, and he's in every single movie that J.J. Abrams directs.
Who was it?
I can't remember his name.
What was he in this movie?
He was in this movie. His name was like Snap Wexley. He was one of the pilots in Black Squadron or whatever.
The X-Wing pilot?
Yeah, he's one of the X-Wing pilots. He was like a bigger guy with a beard.
Okay.
That was his friend. He's in Star Trek. He's in Lost. He's in like
Super 8?
He's in Super 8. He's in every single movie that J.J. Abrams has directed.
Interesting.
Because they're best friends.
Huh.
Since they were kids. Like apparently like when they were 10, I read a story about it, and apparently when they were like 10, that's when like Abrams started making like short films, and he was always like the actor because they were best friends.
Yeah.
And so he just, now that they're old, it doesn't matter. They're still best friends. I love that.
You want to know my predictions?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Rey's family for a minute.
Okay, what's your prediction?
You think I have two. She's Luke's daughter.
Okay.
Because that would explain the longing in Luke's eyes when they see each other.
Yes.
Or
and other things, but yeah.
Or she is a daughter of old Ben Kenobi.
No.
Why not? Why not? She has the Force. There's parallels.
Because
Luke would train her, which would be a descendant of Obi-Wan Kenobi, as opposed to, because obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi trains Anakin, trains like Luke,
daughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that makes no sense.
Like granddaughter or something.
You think so?
Yeah, why
not? Because I don't think Obi-Wan is celibate. Like, he's a Jedi. The Jedi don't.
Luke was supposed to be celibate too, and you think she's?
Well, I think Luke has more of an excuse to not be celibate than Obi-Wan does, because Obi-Wan gets trained by like the proper Jedi temple and everything.
Yeah, but then his pupil Anakin goes off the deep end.
Right. For love.
He can clearly be like...
And so Anakin Skywalker goes off the deep end for a girl. Luke Skywalker also could probably go off the deep end for a girl. Or at least fall in love and have a kid.
Obi-Wan trains Anakin. Okay. Obi-Wan trains Luke. What if Luke trained Rey Kenobi?
That'd be sick.
So yeah,
I think that's not very plausible. I think it's definitely either...
So there's like three options in my mind for Rey right now.
Yeah.
Still related to
Cairo, sister.
The
Solo.
Kylo.
She's a Solo. She's a Skywalker. or she's a Kenobi. Going into the movie, I had dinner with like a bunch of guys, and we were all joking about how Finn's ancestry, which up to this point I'd been thinking that it was Calrissian the whole time, because I read something once that said that like on the cast list it was listed as Calrissian, but I checked it today and it definitely is not listed, just as Finn. We called him Findu because he's Mace Windu's descendant, essentially, is what we said, which would be really funny. But he's not Force sensitive, so I doubt it.
And Mace Windu was a Jedi, and obviously they're not sleeping around with people.
Right. I mean, they're not supposed to. That's what they preach against that. So I definitely think it's going to be Luke's son or it's Kylo's sister. I think Kylo's sister would be more of a turn, like that's more of a surprise.
But it's also very predictable.
I think the most predictable thing would be for it to be Luke's daughter. I think that's the obvious answer.
The brother-sister thing is super predictable. If she was Kenobi's...
Well, it's not predictable, though, because this entire movie, like, if you were Han Solo or you were Leia, and you saw your daughter...
But they haven't seen their daughter in so long.
I know, but they know. Like... Their faces when they see her make me think that they know who she is. Which
when
makes
you watch it tomorrow, you have to pay attention.
Okay.
Super attention.
I'll pay more attention to it tomorrow. But when I watched it, they looked like they recognized her, and even Maz did to an extent. Like I felt like she kind of knew who she was too. Like because their reaction. Well, we know like Han offers her that job at Maz's castle or canteen or whatever, and I think that is because they're related. And
not because she's an awesome pilot and knows more about the film.
I mean, that's probably part of it, but that's not it. Because that can't be it.
Would Han put his daughter through something like that if she wanted to keep her safe?
I mean, potentially. It's Han Solo. You'd want to be with your kid.
I don't know.
I think the most plausible situation is that it's Luke's daughter. I think second, and be more of a surprise, based off of the action between Leia and Rey, and then Han and Rey, is that I think it would be more of a turn for it to be their daughter. Because then they're even hiding it from her during all this time. I think, and how else would it make sense that she'd be hidden away like that? Because they look, Kylo
and... Old Ben Kenobi has a thing for hiding away on desert planets.
True. I mean, the Kenobi theory is still there, but Kylo and Rey don't look that far apart in terms of age.
Did Kylo have an English accent?
No.
Rey has
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
So I thought...
It's through a mask.
I think it wouldn't make sense that she would be hidden away at a young age and... like, not know who Kylo was or recognize him, and also not know who her parents are. I think it's a lot more plausible for Luke Skywalker's kid to be hidden away because it's, like, taboo, and, I mean, he's already more mysterious.
When you watch it again, watch the scene where it flashes back to Rey getting left on the desert planet, and see if you can see anything in the shadows.
I definitely think that flashback has a lot. There's a lot in this movie that... we can analyze, which I didn't want to be like that the last time we watched it, but as soon as this thing comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to freeze frame the whole movie. I won't actually, but...
Here's a thing that you might not have thought of.
Okay.
Andy Serkis, who is General Snoke, we don't know his stature.
We don't.
What if he's a parallel to Yoda?
True.
What if he's the same? What if he's like the same size? What if he's like the same thing, and he just trains Kylo Ren very much like Yoda trains Luke? Or like, Obi-Wan, or like, Qui-Gon Jinn, or whoever.
Like Dagobah? Like, hiding away on a planet?
Kinda. Something like that.
Maybe.
Just like this small guy that's super powerful and does all this stuff, like super wise and everything.
I think though, because Snoke is such a mysterious character, I don't think it, in the next movie, when he's being trained, I'm assuming, that he's gonna be that upfront about it. I still think he's gonna be a mysterious character in the next movie. I don't think... they may flush him out a little bit, but I still think...
I think Snoke can train Kylo Ren without even being in the same place. I think he'd be like, go here, do this. Yeah. That's your training.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I do think Snoke could be a small, statured person like Yoda.
Potentially. I mean, we don't know for sure. It's a mystery.
I think that's one of my predictions. That's how he is.
I've
got on here, Darth Maul comes back? Question mark? Doubt it.
No, probably not.
Do you think Leia's going to die?
Not necessarily.
These are predictions.
No.
No? Not at all?
I don't think she will. I also don't think... Well, Luke might die.
Do you think...
Luke might die.
Kylo... See, this goes with my theory of Kylo Ren turning back to the good side. Do you think Kylo Ren is going to eventually confront Snoke?
No, I think... See, that's the thing.
Oh, this also goes with it. I didn't say it. Kylo Ren kind of has this infatuation with Darth Vader. Saying, like, I'm going to do
finish what you started.
Finish what you started.
Which is in the trailer.
And a lot of people don't understand, or a lot of people in this universe don't understand that Darth Vader turned to good. What if Kylo Ren fights Luke? Luke's like, listen, Vader's my dad. He turned good at the very end. Then Kylo Ren's like, well, that's crazy, because I've been trying to be good this whole time. He goes and fights Snoke.
Maybe. Like, tag team with Rey? That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think... if he's going to turn, it'll be at the end. I think it'll be in the last movie, episode 9. Because I think my prediction is the next movie is going to be Kylo Ren being trained.
Yeah, which is the Empire Strikes Back, Luke being trained,
and Rey being trained.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure like that's going to be in the background.
And I think a Mulan training. Got to be as quick
Let's get down to
business. To defeat the First Order.
Yeah, I think my prediction for the next movie, episode 8.
Me daughters when I asked for clones.
I know, right? I love that little reference in there with the clones that Huxley had. My prediction for episode 8 is going to be primarily Kylo Ren and Rey will be less main story in 8, which they'll still be there and they'll have plenty of scenes, but it'll be mostly them training. And I think there's going to be more, we're going to get a picture of more of the political landscape in the next one. I think we're gonna see the Republic
with Finn.
I think we're gonna see the Republic fleet. I think.
What do you think? What's Finn's role now? Because Finn at the very end is knocked out. He's hurt from his fight with Kylo.
Well, I mean,
and he's left with Leia.
I think he's gonna join the Resistance. Well, I guess the First Order is defeated to an extent. So I think
how?
Well, not really. I guess they escape. Their weapons destroyed. A lot of them, like Huxley, escapes. So does Kylo Ren. So and like we know that they have other bases. Like they reference like going to other planets or something. So I'm guessing we're gonna get a bunch of information about the Republic. They're gonna get trained up, and there might be some sort of confrontation going on. Maybe that's when Luke dies. Maybe Luke will die in the next one, like at the end of Rey's training or something.
You think Kylo will be like, I'm finally trained all the way, and Snoke will be like, no, you're not. Why don't you go try to fight Luke if you think you're trained all the way?
Yeah.
And then he dies somehow.
Maybe.
Becomes all powerful.
If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can even imagine. I don't know.
Becomes a ghost.
I thought I had this movie processed completely, but I'm still processing. I still need to see it a few more times.
Rey Kenobi.
And Findu. All right.
Finn Calrissian.
Do you have anything else to predict?
I don't know. Oh, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
This is one podcast I listen to, The Weekly Planet. They do stuff like this, except they do it better than we do. And I always listen to them. And then I'm like, that's a good idea. And then I sometimes bring it on our show.
Wait, did we plagiarize?
No.
Okay.
Well, paraphrase.
Either way.
Rey Kenobi is a Tony original.
And Findu. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening,
guys.
Go
as
watch
always,
the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Go see the movie. Underpaid Gamers Podcast. 4 thumbs up, I'd say.
Yes.
4 thumbs up.
6. Emily gave us a thumbs up.
Yeah, 6. Emily's on board too.
6 thumbs up.
Which is the highest rating we've ever given.
Person.
That is. I mean, 3 times more, I think.
This is our first ever movie review.
It really is.
Like, we've talked about movies before, and I talked about
this is an in-depth review.
This is an in-depth review, which is a lot of fun.
And I did enjoy this. If you would like to join the conversation, feel free to comment on SoundCloud, because that's really the only way you can do it. Or tweet at us. I guess you can tweet at us, or you can send us an electronic letter to underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com. Tweet at us at UP Gamers Podcast. Tony usually says that one.
At UP Gamers Podcast.
You got the rest.
Email again, underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail. SoundCloud, again, just search for Underpaid Gamers. We're on SoundCloud and iTunes for free. Download. Stitcher, Underpaid Gamers, IGN Forums, every once in a blue moon, Underpaid Gamers. So get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us your Star Wars theories. Let us know what you think about Rey Kenobi and about how plausible it is, because I think it's 100% possible.
And one last note before we say goodbye. I'm wearing a tie today, and I definitely wore my Star Wars tie clip in celebration for the movie, and it was the coolest. And I got a couple compliments today. I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Do you think there's any quotable material in this movie, like there was in the first one?
Any quotables?
Or do you think it's going to take like 30 years before people just start quoting it?
I'm not sure if there's any direct quote. I'm going to have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be.
There's a few.
There's a few like quips. Like Han Solo says some things about Finn. Like he calls him Big Shot or something because he
big deal. He calls him Big Deal because Finn's like, I'm a big deal in the Resistance.
Yeah, like I think that one will be a good.
There's one where Leia's like, don't mention the Death Star.
Yeah,
because Han's like, I'm a hero. I come to save, and she's like, don't mention that.
I love that.
And I'm like, that could be something.
I mean, she gave him a medal.
Yeah,
he is a hero.
So I don't know. All in all, super fun. Oh, I didn't mention this. The Millennium Falcon broke down in the movie. Guess what it was? Guess what broke down? The motivator. Again. The weakest part in the Millennium Falcon is the motivator.
Every time.
Every single time.
Yep. All right. That's what we got.
Peace out.